It's okay, Danny. Danny, it's okay. I believe in you. I believe in you, Danny. I know you can do this. Hey, Hart fans. I'm not Butch Hartman talking to a doll. No, I'm just plain old Butch Hartman, and welcome to the Butch Hartman channel. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Also, if you guys want a commission, click the link down below. I will do you a drawing. Okay. I am so excited. The reason I'm trying to reassure Danny over here is Danny Phantom is about to fight Jake Long in a death battle. The awesome guys over at Death Battle have made a death battle about Danny fighting Jake Long. I have not seen it yet. I've not seen it yet, but welcome to my segment of my show I call Tuna, where I talk all about animation, entertainment, TV, movies, games, YouTube, and I got some great YouTubers on right now because the guys who made the Danny Phantom Jake Long death battle, the guys from Death Battle, the head honchos, Chad and Ben, are on Tuna, and I want to talk to them about this death battle right now. Hey, I've got Chad and Ben, Death Battle Kings. Do I call you Kings of Death Battle? Or
that will be the first time we've ever been called Death Battle Kings. No. I like that. That sounds way better.
Or do I call you guys, you're the Tony Starks of Death Battle. Is what you
yeah. Sure, yeah. Man, I'll take either of those. I'll take either of those, man.
Oh, nice, man. Well, hey, it's really nice to meet you guys.
You too. This
Very
is
cool.
Very surprising and amazing to us that we're even here talking about this.
Oh, hey, man. I'm first of all, I'm very flattered that anyone cares enough about this character Danny back here to make anything out of him. You know, for years and years, I've wanted Nickelodeon obviously to make more, and I just never got around to it. We're not doing it right now. I'd love to in the future, but just to see this as an animated thing that's on YouTube that people are excited about, dude, it really means a lot. It's very cool.
We absolutely love bringing in characters that maybe haven't had a lot of time in the spotlight recently or whatnot, that people just remember very fondly, and or maybe like a younger audience that isn't familiar with that show might get introduced to it through Death Battle. We've seen plenty of that over the years because we cover characters from
everything,
70s, 80s, 2000s, whatever people want to see, or we think people want to see.
And sometimes we'll just bring out a character that we're like, listen, I want to do this. Like way back in the day, I did Bucky O'Hare, which I know that like a lot of people today have no idea who Bucky O'Hare is, but I'm like, I want Bucky O'Hare to fight Star Fox. So
heck yeah.
That's cool. Well, and you guys, well, let's talk about you guys, because first of all, thanks for coming on my segment here. I really appreciate it. And so when did you guys get started? I know your first, I got my notes here. Your first one was Boba Fett versus, what's it? How do I say the last name?
Samus Aran.
Samus Aran. Who is that? I have no idea who that is.
So Samus is the main character from Metroid, the video game series.
You guys notice I'm a boomer and a half. I'm like two boomers.
Oh, no.
Not even fair. All right, so when did that one come out?
Late December 2010. That December 2010 would be, I guess, the birthday of Death Battle, which means we're actually getting very close to our 10-year anniversary.
Oh man,
which is crazy.
You guys, 10 years, and how old are you guys?
I'm 34.
34.
I'm 4 years younger. I'm 30. I'm the baby here.
30. Okay. Well, I'm like 80 years older than both of you. So
but you look great. But
bottom part of me is machinery. I'm attached to it. You can't even notice. Hey, so,
it's just the ghost. It's just the ghost tail, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Hey, so did you guys? Now I know you guys, Ben. You did a lot of the animation at the beginning, right? You were like the main animator.
I suppose. Yeah, I actually I went to college for film specifically, and so while I was working, Death Battle started with a smaller company called Screw Attack at the time, and it was a video game based like media company. That was the primary idea, and it was just a small kind of startup. It was always a startup, basically, for all 13 years.
It kept starting and starting and starting.
Basically, that was kind of how the company worked.
But did a lot of cool stuff. Like, we were doing like top 10 lists like way early on in the internet, and then like we did a lot of like nostalgic look backs on like video games. We had a partnership with Game Trailers back when they were huge, and did a lot of that stuff.
It was a very early sort of. It got on the YouTube train like before YouTube even really started like picking up. And then, of course, as YouTube picked up, we got on that with Death Battle. So that's why a lot of the early episodes are very video game centric. But I pitched the idea because I knew our boss at the time was a fan of Deadliest Warrior, which was a show on Spike TV. And it kind of got me thinking, like, what if we did something similar to that, but with like video game characters? And I started looking up to see if anybody had done anything like it. and I came across a forum of people arguing about who would win in a fight, Goku or Superman. And man, it got super heated. It was not a fun conversation at times. But it made me realize, like, there's people who want this.
Very angry people. Nerds get very angry.
Very passionate. Very passionate.
Yeah, very passionate. There's the tactful word.
Well said.
But that kind of inspired me to say, like, oh, this can go beyond video games. This could be something bigger. Unfortunately, I don't have any animation experience. I can run a camera. I can edit super quick. I have no idea how to animate. I guess I'm going to have to learn. I just kind of did.
Yeah, so Ben, just again, like you said, he comes from a film background. So he was not using Flash or like animation software. Ben was literally editing the fights. He was putting them together, doing keyframing in Final Cut.
For the first chunk.
In the very beginning.
I also had to make every one in less than 2 weeks with also the edit and the research and the writing. I was basically writing the whole thing for most of it.
And the music and the sound effects.
Yeah. So I didn't really have a lot of time to do too much learning until later on. It was, like I said, startup.
No,
it's that kind of company.
Animation of any kind takes, it's so funny. You'll spend 4 hours on something and you get 20 seconds of footage. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be amazing. That's over. You're like, it's always a hard, well, my hat's off to you. Well done, man. That's amazing.
Thank you. I mean, Chad often brings up this story about the first time I ever did like depth perspective in a sprite battle where it was like, oh, I have a rack focus in between Stamets and Boba Fett.
Yeah, he was like, look at this. And then it shifted. He's so proud of it.
I did something, guys.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, I love, though, I talked to a lot of YouTubers lately, and what would you guys know it's hard work. This is not an easy thing to do. I mean, everybody says, oh, I'll just get on YouTube and I'll be an instant success. But what's some of your advice for some YouTubers out there that want to do what you guys do?
Ooh. All right. Well, one, it's very, very challenging, especially in today's landscape. That's one thing is like, we were fortunate enough to have been doing this for, almost 10 years. So like that helped us. There wasn't nearly as much like population on YouTube back then. Right. And so it was kind of easier to rise up. But I would say like one of my biggest advice is just like, find something that you're passionate about it. If you're passionate about the content that you're making, other people will be too. And keep trying things out in the beginning. Like just, you've got an idea. Oh, I want to try and do this kind of stuff. Stick at it for a little bit and then try new ideas and then wait for that thing that seems to have really sparked something with the community that starts to watch, right? Like that, like whatever that gem, that ember is, that just like, that's the thing that you realize like, oh, this is it. This is what my channel is. This is what the content I really am passionate about and want to be doing, and then grow from that.
Very cool. And so, and you guys love superheroes, obviously, comic books and things like that.
Yeah, of course.
Now, with Chad, what's your favorite superhero?
Iron Man.
Iron Man?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Put me on the spot.
It's hard. I mean, I got like, because I'm like old school. I like Spider-Man. I'm a Spider-Man guy.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's great.
And I like Superman too.
I always lean towards the X-Men. Kitty Pryde is coming to mind right now. Like those kinds of characters.
That is the last superhero I thought you were going to do.
I love the characters who aren't necessarily the like up front and center. Always in the action sort of characters, rather the ones that are always having to react to everybody else being so much more powerful than them. That's always interesting to me. But of course, Superman. At first, I wasn't a big Superman fan, and then we did Goku versus Superman, and I learned like how to appreciate Superman.
Oh yeah.
And now I really like him.
Well, the funny thing is about a guy like Superman, like these guys created Superman and how he's a guy who could fly, he's bulletproof, whatever. Then when people started buying the comics, they're like, we got to come up with reasons he can do all these things. How is he able to do all this? He doesn't just jump anymore. He actually flies at the speed of light. And how do we do it? I thought they did a really good job in Deadpool when they brought Colossus to life. I thought they did a real nice job with that because I'm like, okay, that's how Colossus would be in real life. They've done a real nice job with some of these heroes, especially Avengers stuff. I'm a huge Avengers fan as well, and the fact they could make him believable, especially Captain America, a guy in a blue and red and white suit, and they make him totally believable.
I'm amazed at how well the Captain America films did, because that is a character that I wasn't sure could even really land an audience this day and age, at least not in the way that they did it.
I was the old cheesy movies where he's stealing cars and stuff.
Yeah, I was expecting the Captain America movies to be so pessimistic.
Yeah.
And they do have a little bit of that, but like pessimism is kind of Captain America's enemy in the movies, and I think that's kind of brilliant.
Yeah, like Tony Stark goes, I just want to punch you in your perfect teeth. You know, he's like the ultimate guy.
The other thing is like, oh, sorry. From doing like what we do, one thing that was really impressed, what I was really impressed by the ending of the Avengers movies, like Infinity War specifically, is they found ways to take like really overpowered characters and get them out of the scenario. Which for people like us, you know, we're thinking like if there's ever a scene where it's just like, there shouldn't be any conflict or drama here because X character could just like wipe all these people out in like a second. And so like Infinity War, they did a really good job. Like, okay, Thor's way over here. We're going to sucker punch stab Vision in the back. So that's why he can't do anything. Scarlet Witch is really upset about that because they were dating. So she's not fighting right now. Like and Hulk's having trouble with Bruce Banner. They're not getting along. So like, it's like all the like these all-star power characters that would just wipe the floor with this army that's coming in. They did a really good job. Like, I'm there for the experience. So as long as you give me something at least believable, as to like, you know, I'll follow it. So,
but man, it's that like classic film student thing where the more you learn about the medium, the more you like can't enjoy it the same way as before, right? Like now you're just analyzing it as you're watching it. But now we also have this death battle mindset whenever we're looking at stuff. Even it's hard to turn it off, right?
Oh, yeah.
So when something crazy happens, it's just like, how did they do that? How does that affect the world? If they, you know, does that change something about the city? Like, how's the city going to recover from this? And it's like, do we really need to know all that stuff? No. But for some reason we do.
You can't, like, because you're like, but what if we isn't? Like, I was watching Frozen 2 with my kids, and I'm just like, I laser focused in on like what else is actually doing. And it's like, oh, she actually just thinks of something and then it appears and dies. Like the first one, oh, she can create life out of snow. Cool. Like, and then there's like a song lyric where it's like, her power every day is getting harder as I feel my power grow. And I'm like, dude, she's still like every day she's getting more powerful. Like what? So like, but that like we can't turn that off.
Phoenix.
Like
She's Dark Phoenix, but
right, exactly.
Hey, well, guys, listen. Now I'm going to ask you guys: how did you come up with Danny versus Jake Long? Where did that come from? What was the inspiration for that?
So a lot of our matchups, most of the matchups that we do, are based on viewer request. We have a bunch of different ways for people to request matchups, whether it's just through comments on YouTube or roosterteeth.com or on Twitter, sending them to us through that. There's a whole like community on DeviantArt actually of people who make like custom thumbnails and even write death battles, which is really interesting. It's really neat to see people spend time on those. And also we have a submission form on every single video we release that you can just submit it straight through there. So there's a lot of different ways to request a matchup, and we take those into account whenever we're planning out a season. So this one was definitely people requesting Danny Phantom a lot, and it's looking at that name and saying, okay, this character is going to be great. We love this character. Who is he going to be best against? Who are people requesting should be fighting him? And what would maybe be the best, like the most fun matchup for us to do? Right. And we ended up landing on Jake, the Dragon Boy.
So some fights are a lot easier, you know, and they just make sense, like, or at least just to like who we're matching up against, right? Like Lex Luthor versus Iron Man, right? Things like that. Like it's pretty straightforward. But then we've come across certain characters that have like certain abilities, like for example, turning into a ghost and becoming intangible, which then really limits like who they could fight.
Anybody else fighting them? Exactly right. right. And I was like, because you know who I'm partial to. Obviously, I mean, by the way, as
clearly
of this recording, as of this, totally Jake. Exactly, I'm totally Team Jake. Let's do this. No, but like, no, but like, as of this recording, I have not seen the death battle. We're releasing this the day before the video, so I have no idea. I'm going to react to it tomorrow, and people can watch that, and I'm going to watch it for the first time. But you know, my money's on Danny. But I was like, okay, Jake Long. I've been looking up Jake Long. I get this whole list of powers that everybody has. I'm like. And I realized Danny Phantom has 46 freaking powers, and Jake Long has 17. Now, doesn't mean but Jake Long could have one really amazing power that just does away with Danny. So I have no clue who's going to win. And I'm hoping Danny wins. Gee, guys, can we have anyway? I'm not going to say it, but Danny is a formidable foe. I will say that we made him very formidable. And I'm looking.
It's almost like you were planning on this the whole time. 46 powers. How do we bring it up to 50 or maybe 60? Who knows?
So the thing about that was when I was making the show, I wanted a character like Elsa, before Elsa, of course. But I was like, I want this character to grow and just learn new stuff about himself. Like The Greatest American Hero was a show when I grew up. Like he's always got something new in his suit that he's figuring out. And plus, he's a teenager. You're already learning about your body and like life as a teenager. And then you got all these powers on top of it. Like, how can I do all these things? So that's when we started adding more powers to Danny.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm
we literally just went through the show a little while ago, and like he starts off with, I think it's only basically flight and intangibility and passing through things. Then he eventually gets the green lasers, the ectoplasm, and then the ghostly whale is supposed to be way down the line, but is able to learn it early. So yeah, and I think that's awesome. That does mean that we have so much stuff to cover in our episode.
Thank you
though.
so much for that.
Well, you're welcome, gentlemen. You're welcome.
So that's actually one of the questions that, like, this is a cool opportunity for us too to get to like sit down with one of the creators of the characters. And a question that I've always wanted to ask is because we have to we have to do this like our show is all about taking basically real world math and stuff that we see these characters do, and then translating that to like what that actually means that they're capable of or could survive. And so especially for like the more cartoony characters, it's very interesting to me to be like, when you're writing that character and you're like, oh, he's going to do this cool ability, do you ever think like what the real ramifications of that is, like what it actually means? Or is it just like, no, I mean, the laser's the size of a building because it's cool? Like,
oh, well, that's a very good question. It depends. I think it depends on the episode, because I was writing television episodes, and Danny Phantom's never been a comic book. He's never been a movie. We made like one movie. We made The Ultimate Enemy, which was the one where he turns into Dark Danny, or he's the future self of Danny. But we always started off from a TV format. So it had to be like beginning, middle, end all the time. It wasn't like a cliffhanger all the time. It was, we had to kind of make the episode self-contained, kind of like the X-Files. But there was like an overarching story underneath a little bit, like Danny's arch enemy and stuff. So yeah, sometimes it depended on the situation. We need a giant laser beam here. If it's cool, we'll do it. But then the character has to cost the character something. He's got to cost him something. So we try to do that. And the thing is, it was so long ago that I did the show. I'm trying to remember the reasons behind everything. But the main thing was a character that's growing and learning as he goes. And then, like his sister finding out who he is, and his parents are Ghostbusters. And when I knew the series was going to end, I always wanted to make that Phantom Planet episode. Did you guys see that episode?
Of course, yes.
The last one, where he turns the entire Earth intangible.
Yes, I was actually gonna say, like, on top of everything you're saying, like, it was the idea that maybe in the future Danny would be able to just do it all himself rather than relying on all the other ghosts, because he's just growing in power the whole time.
That's funny. We could have gone that way had we done more seasons. I don't like making characters too powerful, and Danny was kind of becoming that way. I think had we gone on, I would have started limiting him a lot more, because Spider-Man is so much more popular than Superman because he's a limited character, and Superman is so powerful it's hard to write stories for him all the time. That's why they came up with kryptonite. Well, there's kryptonite. What else? And how much kryptonite is there? There's kryptonite. Don't touch it. So anyway, limiting the character a little bit. That's what I love in the Avengers even. Like Stan Lee always said, a hero is one who rises above the adversity. The Hulk can't turn into the Hulk right now. Oh God, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
I think that's more interesting myself, but we'll see. Hopefully you guys didn't limit Danny too much in the death battle. I still haven't seen it yet. I'm looking. Who wrote the episode, by the way? Did you write the episode, Ben, or Chad?
I am the head writer of the show, so I kind of work with our writers for every single episode. This one was specifically.
Ben is to blame if I lose it down. Okay.
This one was written by one of the members of our research team. We brought on over time. Originally, it was just me doing all this, and it was insane. But over time, this group of fans basically started researching episodes whenever they were announced, and they would make like this prediction blog, and they would post it before the episode was released. And they did such a good job that eventually I just asked them to say, hey, you want to just help with the show? They were brought on as research team members, and one of them, he goes by Lousy online, is actually the writer for this. So it's been a bit of an evolution there. So
Lousy, I need his address in case I lose down. Okay. I say these characters become part of you when you work in them for so long. Like become
of course.
Well, guys, listen, I got we're gonna wrap up the interview here with since you've watched everything. We've got some Danny Phantom trivia for you guys. Can you guys do some Danny Phantom trivia?
Oh boy, I should be able to.
That's going to be all Ben. Have fun, Ben. This is going to be great. Because I get to make dumb jokes for the show and do voices.
Chad, you can do this. Here we go. Who is Jack Fenton? Wait, where's the other questions we had? Hold on. Here we go. We had some harder ones. Oh, yeah, we had some harder ones for you. Okay.
Uh-oh.
What is
Oh no.
What is the name of Danny's clone? And it's also his cousin. What's the name of his clone?
Danny.
Her name
Danielle.
is
Danielle. I knew that one. I
Oh,
knew that one.
Danielle's a character that I wish was in more episodes.
Same,
I'm so
same,
sad
same.
she's only in 2.
Right when we started making her, the show ended. And it's like, oh, such a great, rich character. But I would definitely bring her back for sure. We did the Danny Phantom 10 years later.
Spin-off series.
I drew her like 10 years later a couple times in a couple of videos. All right. What is the device Danny carries whenever he needs to contain a ghost?
The thermos.
Dude, on
The
fire.
Phantom thermos.
Ben's on fire. Chad, he's making you look great. Very good.
Well,
Chad, you got the next one.
Well, let's be real here. For this episode, I just voiced my character and made dumb jokes.
So I will say, like, I'm part of the death battle process from start to finish, for the most part, depending on the episode.
Right.
Chad is a member of the like core talent team, so he's off making all these like goofy skit videos while we're doing all this nerdy stuff in the background.
I'm still gonna torment Chad though.
That's fine.
Okay, great. Okay, what true or false? Butch Hartman wrote the Danny Phantom theme song.
What do you think, Chad?
Ooh, well, I know you've done some music before because you co-wrote the episode with Ember when she had her song. You co-wrote that song. I know that.
I did.
I'm gonna say true because I believe in you.
Oh, thank you. It is true. I did write the theme song.
Yes.
Very good. I write the theme songs to all my shows and all the music too. So and all the the other songs too. So thank you. I'll give you one more question. Here we go. Now this was a good one for Ben. How did Danny get the logo on his suit?
Oh, I had totally forgotten about this until we watched through it again.
Yeah.
A very complicated series of events, but essentially he loses his powers and has to get it again. And he's got his dad's face on the jumpsuit, and Sam replaces it with the DP logo.
Good. He actually lost his memory because of Desiree, who is a ghost, and made him lose his memory. And then Sam tried to convince him who he was. That came about because the first season of Danny Phantom, he didn't have a logo, and the network's like, "Can you give your superhero a logo, please?" And we're like, "Oh yeah, we got to do that. How do we do that?"
Oh yeah, merchandise.
I was curious about that because I knew going into this episode or into the death battle, like, oh yeah, in the second season he gets his logo. But I didn't think about it. I was like, they must have just slapped it on for the second season, whatever. But I didn't remember that there was a whole story about it.
The whole story, yeah. In fact, this is one of the only pieces of merchandise right here. This is one of the only dolls that they ever made of Danny. And they made it wrong. But I'll take it because it's something. But like, there was no merch. They never made any merch of Danny. They made Avatar: The Last Airbender instead, which is a good show, great show. But we had all this stuff planned out, but that's one of the only pieces right there. There's
so many cool toys you could make.
Oh, I know. Exactly. Let's
all the cool ghost gadgets.
So many good ghost gadgets.
Oh my! I remember playing with the
sets.
Yeah.
The Legos, exactly.
Was there not even like a Fenton thermos toy? Just a thermos.
No,
literally
no way.
Thermos.
There never was. No, we were making this whole style guide and all this cool stuff, and then Nickelodeon decided to go with Avatar. Again, amazing show. But they went with Avatar, and they were like, I was like, cool, we get to do Danny too. Like, no, we're just doing Avatar. I'm like, oh, okay. And so we didn't end up.
Well, Nickelodeon, you really dropped the ball.
I didn't say
make a thermos.
That was me. That was all me.
Well, guys, I can't wait to see this death battle. I know the fans are excited. And do you guys have any questions for me before we go? I think I've asked you everything. I want to just say, I admire what you guys are doing. I think you're doing a great job. Keep it up. I'd love to just maybe collab in the future on something else. It'd be really cool.
Yeah.
I think this is just it still kind of blows my mind that you reached out like this because we typically don't expect anything like this to happen. And it's just really cool having this kind of call with you and talking to you about this and learning what you think about it. And frankly, I really hope you like the episode.
Well, we'll see who wins the episode.
We'll see. And see, that's one of the things that we face too, man. So many people that they're just like one of their characters is gonna die, so it's like,
oh, that's right,
half the audience is there and they'll half the audience is instantly disappointed when that killing blow lands. And so then it's like, but this is why, and it's justification, and then immediately like, well, F you because you killed my favorite character. And then it's like,
well, we're going to air this before the battle, and I'm going to have a live reaction coming up tomorrow, and I'm real excited to see who wins. But any questions for me before we go, or anything at all?
That's
it. That's it.
Who do you think is going to win?
Well,
bias out of the window.
here's the thing. Just based on powers alone and what I know Danny can do, I'm going to predict Danny wins. Although Jake is probably a pretty good fighter, and Danny might lose concentration at some point. I don't know. I don't want to predict.
Well, it looks like you've done your research. You have your list of moves. So
are you nervous at all?
I'm very nervous. I'm a little terrified actually, but I'm hoping my ghost boy back here wins, man. I hope he gets the upper hand. But again, mad respect for Jake Long and all the fans out there, and for you guys in Death Battle. You guys are awesome. And
thanks so much, man.
Coming on, man. I appreciate it. Okay, Chad and Ben, you guys rock, and that was a great interview. Did you guys like that interview? Let me know what you think down below. Who's gonna win? I don't know. I'll be doing a live reaction to this death battle, and it'll be out tomorrow. I want you guys to check it out. I haven't seen it. They could have told me, I should have asked them, but I didn't. I want to build this thing up because it's exciting. So tomorrow, check out my live reaction about the death battle on my channel right here. But right now, I'm going to draw something for Chad and Ben. I'm so grateful to them for coming on. Ben didn't even know how to animate, and yet he took it upon himself to do the animation for death battle because he thought it'd be really, really cool. And that shows you guys don't need to have all this training to just start your dream. Everybody starts at the beginning. And now look what they have. They have a massive channel with a massive following, and it is super, super cool. And they got me involved now. I'm super excited about this. You guys can do the same thing. You heard what Chad said. You just do what you're passionate about. If you have a channel and you're passionate about the topic, other people will be passionate about that topic too. That's what's exciting. I'm passionate about entertainment, animation, all that stuff. That's why I do this channel. All right, without further ado, let's draw something special right now for Chad and Ben. Here we go. Okay, super excited about the death battle. So nice meeting Ben and Chad. I'm gonna draw for them right now their characters that they play on Death Battle, Wiz and Boomstick. Here we go. As always, I'm drawing on just a pretty cheap pad of newsprint, and I'm drawing with a pretty simple marker. You don't need to be a millionaire to do artwork or to learn how to be an artist. Just learn with basic materials and then buy better stuff as you go. Okay, first we're gonna draw Boomstick. Here we go. This is Chad's character. All right, so he's kind of a trucker guy. So he's got a hat. I'll draw his hat over here. And I'm just kind of starting from the top and going down. His face is kind of a blocky type of a face. Let's see, and kind of a big chin, kind of a muscular guy. I should have asked him where their ideas for their avatars came from, actually. That's what I should have asked. Maybe we'll get him back on for another interview in the future. That'd be pretty cool. All right, so here is Boomstick's head. He's kind of a big guy, so his neck comes out wider than his head a little bit. And I wonder where the trucker aspect came from. That'd be kind of cool. Let me see here. So he's kind of got these almost Family Guy eyes, kind of a little bit droopy. Kind of lidded like that, yeah. And big, does he have heavy eyebrows? Not really any eyebrows. Oh, he's got some eyebrows there. Yeah, a little bit of eyebrow going on. All right, and then a mustache. Happy smile. I like this character. I like this guy. And of course he has, let's see, the plaid vest. And he's got like checkerboard vest. Or like a flannel shirt with the sleeves ripped off. There we go, a little shadow under the chin. Very cool. And we will do this. And he's got some 5 o'clock shadow too, so. All right, so there's Boomstick. And he's got a lot more shadow there, but I've got this black marker. I don't want to give him too much stubble, it'll look bad. Gotta know how to control your materials. You gotta know how to, whatever you're working with, learn how to work with it the best. Like I've got a black marker, I can't really do a ton of color work or shading with it because it's just a straight black color. So I gotta, work with what I can. There are some people that do marker art amazing. All right, there we go. There's Boomstick. Now we'll do Wiz. Interesting character. I like that. It's funny because neither one of these characters look like these guys. So the Wiz will be, he's got like this big pointy chin, much thinner guy, glasses, nose kind of swoops down like this, kind of a serious face. There we go, yep. And hair kind of hangs in his face. He's a smart guy. He's got no time to to wash his hair. 0 time. I'm very curious as to who's going to win the death battle. That's what I want. Oh, he's got this weird part up in the top of his head, too. It's the first time I've ever drawn these characters, so cut me a break a little bit as I learn. I'm learning in front of you. And then he's got like a collar, like a lab coat right there. And yeah, there you go, Whiz and Boomstick. Okay, and maybe just for the heck of it, we'll put down here who I think is going to win the death battle. Who do I think will win the death battle? Let's see. I'm drawing, of course, a picture of Jake Long. This will be Danny's attitude if he doesn't win. All right, there we go. Signing the work. All right, Whiz, Boomstick, and Danny Phantom all on one page. What do you guys think? Who do you think is going to win the death battle? Leave a comment down in the comment section below. I, of course, think Danny's going to win. I think Danny's got it in the bag, but you know what? Not my channel. We'll see. I wish Jake Long the best of luck. And hey, Ben and Chad, thanks for coming on. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I am so glad you're watching the channel today. And you know what? Who else should I have on Tuna? Who else should I talk to? I want to talk to people that make entertainment movies. I said entertainment movies like it was a separate thing. I want to talk to people who make entertainment and do YouTube and all that stuff. So who should I have next as a guest? Let me know down in the comment section. All right, let's do this death battle. Don't forget, art gives you power. Use it wisely. Hey Heart fans, subscribe here to keep up with me, Danny, Timmy, Dudley, Bunsen, and the Noog Network. My new app full of cartoons, shows, and games. Download it here. Click over here to watch my most recent video and here to start a playlist related to this video. Whoa, check out that awesome fan art. To be featured here, use hashtag HeartFanArt and tag me. I'm on every social media platform known to man. Cartoon Butch out. Pencil drop.